think we were like 16 or 17.
My buddy Brian was like, you gotta meet this kid Mike, he plays bass.
We had met John.
He was great, right from the get-go.
We used to just practice in John's basement.
So we had like a little bit of a band.
Greg used to hang out with John.
I remember going over to my friend Jonathan Socol's house.
We were just learning what it is to jive with other players.
He had a band with Mike, Danny Cruz, and Jay Broman.
I knew Greg a little bit in high school.
I heard him playing, it was Paranoid.
We did a little bit of covers.
They sounded great.
We would try to write originals.
They were soloing. I was very impressed. For high school, it was a pretty high level of musicianship. I was pretty blown away by it.
John had mentioned that, Greg was playing, he used to play in his kit.
One time I jammed with Danny and Mike.
And I remember it was just, it was really cool. It was a good feeling.
We just kind of clicked.
He had like a natural flow about him, a natural groove. This guy doesn't even have a kit, and he's a natural. Later down the line, things didn't work out with John.
I got a call from Mike shortly after, maybe a month or two.
Greg was definitely the first guy that, I thought about.
He said that he was looking to form a band with Danny, and they remembered jamming with me.
Me and Danny had wanted to do something different.
So I got together with them, we practiced.
We put a three-piece together.
That was it was great.
And we just started writing original music.
We used to play in Danny Cruz's basement for about 4 or 5 months.
His family was moving away, and then he was moving with them, so that was heavy.
That was it. That was the end of the band, pretty much. That's how me and Mike felt, because Danny was so good, and we didn't think we could ever find a replacement.
I believe things happen for a reason.
Through mutual friends, John, again, and Marty Gloucester. They went to school with this guy, Emmett, that Mike had actually heard of. I had never heard of him. I didn't know who he was.
I was dumbfounded by the way this guy played guitar. It was just nothing like I had ever seen or heard in a kid his age.
This cover band had two great guitar players, and one of those guitar players was he literally just blew me away.
We would do like Iron Maiden covers and Judas Priest covers.
Both guitar players soloed, so they would do a lot of dual stuff, and they would do harmonies and stuff, and I was just really impressed. And one of those guitar players was Emmett. I couldn't believe this guy, he's as young as he is, playing this kind of stuff, like that fluently. You know what I mean? He had the sound, he had the technique, he had the smoothness, the finesse. And I was like, wow, I was really impressed.
Mike said that Emmett was a great player, so I was like, yeah, let's try him out.
We were introduced by a mutual friend.
We had made a tape of us playing.
They had given me a tape of a few songs that they were working on with their other guitar player.
Do you like the songs? He's like, yeah, this is really, really cool. I'm definitely into it. I'm like, cool, if you have any problems with the songs and stuff like that.
Yeah, it was really cool stuff.
And he learned it. He learned it in like a day.
We jammed on those. It was the first musical things we were working on.
Oh, okay, cool.
So I was like, oh, okay. I'm like, this is great. And I think I called Greg. I'm like, this guy already learned the songs.
From there, it was really easy to write and create.
Not only did he know the songs, but he even knew the solos note for note.
Went to see him play. It was fantastic. Just blown away. He was doing David Gilmour, he was doing Rush, he was doing Iron Maiden, all the solos, all the songs, perfect.
And I'm like, wow. I was like really impressed. I was impressed, but I wasn't shocked.
Right then we knew that was the guy.
We have similar personalities, but then also like very similar taste in music.
Man, we hit it off.
In April of 1995, we moved into Wave Street Studios.
We'd hang out there so late. There were no windows on this place, so we didn't know what the fuck time it was.
I had a room, they had the room next door, and we were there every single night.
We were in a transition period looking for a singer for a while.
We had the room, and we played all the time, recording music, getting everything down, and it was time to find a singer.
We had a couple different singers that we had tried and gone through and gigged with over the years.
Through a mutual friend. They knew this guy Jeff who sang.
I was hanging out at a car show on Staten Island with my friend Dennis, and he goes, you can sing? I said, yeah, I'm pretty good. He goes, well, my friend Emmett has a band and they need a singer. So I went down to the studio and I met these guys for the first time.
Jeff liked a lot of the music that that we liked.
No Guido shit, no dance music, no bullshit.
Really into a lot of the rock, stuff.
Everything kind of fit because it was kind of going into the right direction we were going for.
He liked also a lot of the alternative stuff.
I watched these guys start playing and I realized they were very technical, which, kind of actually turned me off at first.
They were trying to do things that nobody else was doing at the time.
What is this? What am I, what am I trying to get involved in here? And then, but as I heard the music, I was like, wow, this is some really powerful stuff.
It worked out really well. Initially, he was definitely better than any of the singers we had worked with before.
He seemed like he was up for it, and he adapted to it.
He had a great kind of a Chris Cornell kind of a sound with some really good, like a pretty good high range voice.
And once Jeff filled that void and created their voice, they were starting to do something that was becoming unique.
Wow, this is going to be really cool.
The fact that they stopped, that kind of sucked, because it was a great band.
We were doing too much too fast and people didn't know how to swallow it.
There was a big transition in the scene.
I felt like they should have had more influence. I felt like there should have been more popularity for them.
What we were doing was just not what was it at the time.
It's frustrating when you put a lot of time and effort and the scene was kind of dying. There really wasn't a lot of support for original local music.
We didn't fit with any of the other bands. We never really meshed because we were just, we couldn't describe what we were.
There was really no band we could, let's say, build with.
It really sucked that there weren't other groups that, even if they weren't as advanced as Third Kind was, nobody had the guts to do that.
Back then, there was really no exposure. There was no internet, which is really huge with social networking.
Now the way technology is, we're allowed to be a band again and record music, with Emmett being in Hawaii.
Why not? Why not do it?
When we were, I guess, in our heyday, or if you want to call it, we were in full force, playing out and writing. The internet was this brand new thing that not everybody had yet.
The artists today have the tools that we didn't have. We didn't have a website. We didn't have anything. I mean, everything was word of mouth.
A lot of footwork and word of mouth kind of deal where you had to, go out and physically promote and get people to come out to the shows. Now everything's online and it's so easy to reach a huge, broad audience.
We always kind of knew that we were always going to still play together. We didn't talk about it, but we always knew it, and now we're doing it all this time later.
Thanks to things like the internet, thanks to things like modern technology, they have a shot to blow this thing up.
So it's great. We don't even have to be in the same room. Yeah, we don't have to be in the same state.
They can write that way. That Emmett can write something, send it through the internet, and Mike and Greg can jump on it and do their thing and send it back.
There's a whole scene for that, for all kinds of styles of music now, but prog especially.
I think Third Kind is really on that level and has that element, and it's really great that there's a scene. The newer generations could hook into that, and I'm looking forward to seeing the results of putting all this stuff together and seeing where it all goes.
We're going to push it. We all have the equipment for it. We're just going to put out music and keep doing what we're going to do.
Through the years, nobody stopped playing. The talent is there. Let's hear what they're going to do.
I'm looking forward to being able to get our music out there to way more amount of people than we ever were able to back in the day.
And we got the reunion show coming up, and it's going to be great.
What kept us going was the love of the art, the love of the music.
If you understand the music and what it is, we don't want to play every song heavy or every song light or every song this way or every song that way.
It's not about anything else. It's about how much you love what you do.
We're looking for a collage of everything that we could do.
And you put it all in one bag and you make it your own. We incorporate it into our style. That's what Third Kind is about, diversity.